All right. What is up, everyone? Welcome to a new video. It's been a long time, which is my catchphrase, like I said. But today I actually got a very specific topic I want to talk about. I want to share my opinion about. So, quick disclaimer right at the beginning of this video: this is only sharing my personal opinion. There's no right or wrong. If I would give something a title such as good or bad or right or wrong, it's based on my own opinion. There's no objective right or wrong. The reason I made this video is just because recently I wanted to do a vlog again. I didn't really have a narrative to it. It just ended up being kind of chaotic. I didn't end up uploading it. So one day I randomly got through my notes on my phone, and I noticed I took some notes back in February or something about what makes a switch up good, and I had some solid base points, but I decided to dive deeper into it and see how far I can go with that. And so right now I just noticed that there seems to be no end to it, so I guess this probably would be a part one of a series, but I already I took down some notes here. I guess it's gonna be what makes a switch up good or bad, or just nice to look at, or not so nice to look at. So I have some base points and just gonna go through with that. I got a pretty good spot to show some examples. There's plenty of good switch up examples out there, especially recently. I think with the Pains XP video by Sean and Parker was, I guess, a standout video for good switch ups, because in my opinion they cover and that's the first point for me. What is needed to have a good switch up is just the execution. It doesn't matter what's the what the switch up itself is, what tricks it consists of, how many tricks it is, or whatever. It's the execution. And I guess one thing it should always be is it should be just looking kind of comfortable. You should look comfortable in your tricks. Doesn't mean it cannot look hard or anything. You can still make a trick look just as hard as it is, but it's there's still a thing of being comfortable in your trick. Sorry, the screen's turning off. And I guess the most important part actually is whenever you're grinding it in general, the most satisfying thing in my opinion to see is if your grinds or switch ups look like you properly waxed your spot. So if you get stuck during your switch ups, it's kind of not as nice to look at anymore, or it makes it harder to make it very appealing. And that's what I'm saying. This is all my opinion. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but yeah, whenever I kind of approach this topic, or whenever I'm thinking of switch ups myself, this is the base thing. You can just go on with switch ups. There's endless combinations and whatever, but making a switch up just for the sake of making something somebody's never done before, and it ending up looking exactly like something we'll never ever do again, kind of misses the point of a good switch up. And so let's start with the list. The first 3 points I actually noted are almost the same. Oh yeah, before we start, I already put on my skates because I missed the setup talk. People seem to love setup talks. So all right, what we got here is still MW Pro boot, the M Money, with my signature liner in there, all nice and worn in. Got the Icon AG60 frame, which is performing really well. I've been skating it pretty much all summer. And I got my Red Eye 55 Pro wheels. In case anyone was ever wondering if brands did 55 before this August. Yes, they did. So yeah, that's my setup for now. It's my setup for like the whole summer, I guess. I did skate some prototype sole plates for some time now, but I'm back on the original colorway on the skates, just because I'm very proud of how these turned out. And all right, let's actually start with the list. So the first 3 points I got what makes a switch up good. So the first 3 points are containing easy tricks, simple tricks, and being relatable. This could be very much seen as the same as 1 point, but I think there's like slight differences to it. Just easy switch ups and relatable switch ups might be like the closest thing to being like 1 point, which is like whenever you're starting out skating, like you mostly tend to do easy switch ups. You're starting with like base tricks and like just going to the next base trick, maybe doing even like only like switching up 1 foot, doing like a sole to front side. And there's like nothing wrong with these switch ups. There used to be, or like there's still probably people out there that say there's rules to it and you cannot do certain types of switch up, but I say just like don't listen to any of that and do whatever you think feels good. Sometimes it might not look as good as you thought it would, but that's just the process of finding out how to find your style and your like standard set of switch ups. So the third point of these, the simple, is basically just not overdoing it with like spins or like whatever, doing whatever with your legs. Like sometimes just, let's say most basic switch up, front roy to alley-oop topsoul or back roy true sole, if executed nicely, probably just one of like the best base switch ups there is. Nothing bad to say about it. Just don't be too lazy with it. That's what I'm thinking. Like people tend to like be lazy with easy or simple switch ups, not putting in the effort they would with other switch ups. So they end up looking not as good just because like, yeah, more effort you put in, not in like, I don't know, trying too hard or anything, but like the more effort you just put into to make it look, or to just make it proper, the better it will come out. And that kind of concludes the first 3 points. Yeah, so easy, relatable, and simple. I guess people that know my skating probably know that, yeah, these are like the base rules I follow by too, like just not overdoing it. Why would I? I wanted to make this a very, very quick video, but I noticed like the first recording was already 9 minutes and I don't see much of it being cut out. So sorry for talking a lot and like probably not skating that much. Yeah, actually, like we plan on going street skating later, so I just wanted to do this at some point because it got postponed so many times just because there was no time, or like skate parks were too packed or whatever. Next point I have on this list is kind of like speaking against itself. It's a good switch up just contains the same trick, and by that I mean just doing like the same trick in a different way. So it's like you do sole topsoul, very basic one, for example, or a lot of people that like the alley-oop topsoul to sole thing, and so on, just, or like front roy, back roy, kind of like one I enjoy. I tend to enjoy a lot, just because it has like a switch roy in there. And you could also do same trick switch ups, as in like you do the space bar, as in you do topsoul, hop topsoul, just like you do if you kink hop, but you're not hopping a kink, you're just like jumping on a P-rail. Yeah, so not a switch up in a literal sense, because you're not switching up to a different trick, you're just like recalculating in a sense. And that's pretty much it. Same trick, switch ups. Probably fall in the same category as simple and relatable, but yeah. So coming in on a next point right here is a bit of a not like the easiest point. I guess it's the first one that I have like some doubts about, which is budget switch ups. So whenever you're just like you're standing in a trick and you're just like stepping over into a different trick. The thing about it is like budget switch ups can be like they can be really nice. They can be executed really well, but most of the times, I'd say like 80% of the times, whenever I see a budget switch up, it's kind of laziness. It's just like adding a trick for the sake of adding a trick. It's usually the same, which is not a bad thing, but yeah. And if there's like not much thought behind it, which it seems like there's like, it's not that satisfying to watch either. There's not like, it doesn't feel like there's much effort behind it. And I have like very specific examples in my mind, but obviously I'm not gonna call anyone out on this. But this is like one of my negative opinions, I guess, about budget switch ups. They have like high potential, but like also high potential of failing. So I say whenever you do a budget switch up, they need to be like executed really nicely. Yeah, but like that's what I said is like a base rule in my opinion. I guess budget switch ups can be like, they can be expanded further. There's potential out there that's not used yet, but I haven't been like much into budget switch ups myself too much. I'm gonna try to do a couple. And next point on the list, it's a bit of like a yin yang thing. So what could make a switch up good or bad is like just keeping it short, doing like 2 tricks, or adding a lot of tricks. The thing is like if you only have 2 tricks, chances are higher the switch up is going to be good. The more tricks you add, the more risk you're willing to take to like just lose a bit of like style execution points. Yeah, so I guess whenever a switch up goes above like 4 tricks, which is already a pretty high number, whenever it goes above 4, it usually ends up just looking very, very much like you're trying too hard. And sadly, I cannot think of an example that's kind of like exceptionally good in that way. But yeah, most of the times whenever I see that, it feels like someone is just trying hard to prove that they can do a lot of tricks on a rail. But yeah, I'm definitely more on the side of doing just 2 switch ups, 3 maximum personally, just because it's like if you have like a solid 2-point switch up and you're solid on your spot on the rail or ledge, and you add a 3rd one and it's like really, the 3rd trick is like really consistent, it's still grinded and whatever, yeah, there's definitely high reward on that side too. Next point I got, probably one, like I guess most people that are watching up until this point, which well, thank you for still staying on this. I feel like I've been talking forever already, but one thing that I noticed is a big thing is rhythm in your switch up. That goes especially for 3-point switch ups, when it's just like a bang bang bang, and it's like there's a lot of weight on the sound actually, and so having a good film or 2 might actually be something that makes a switch up good. It makes it better to like to showcase. But rhythm in my opinion is like a cool thing. Just sound in general is a cool thing in skating. So rhythm in switch ups is something that could like upgrade your switch up if you have like a nice rhythm in whatever trick you're doing. Now, I know like rhythm is like hard to control. Sometimes it's just like a lucky extra. But yeah, again, I should have like wrote down examples when it comes to like a nice rhythm in switch ups, but there's definitely tons out there. If you can think of some, just leave them in the comments. I highly appreciate that. Going to the next one, this point I actually talked about. It's fluid movement. but I'm thinking of a different thing right here. So fluid movement or working against said fluid movement is like whenever you're doing a trick that's like adding momentum. Whenever you're like spinning on a spot, I'm like thinking of the rail right now. If you're spinning on the rail, usually your body tends to go a specific direction. Like for example, I was saying whenever I'm doing alley-oop soul, I tend to look back as in like a rewind position. So working according to how my body is like standing on the rail, I would do a switch up that's going the ups, like going rewind, going like other way to topsoul or something. So usually just leaning in on where your body would go and like kind of working with that helps making a switch up look really good. Saying, for example, you do the back Savannah true mark is probably my favorite example for this one. If you do a back Savannah, or for me personally, I love just to come out fakie, just stay fakie on that. And so my most natural thing to do is go fakie, and like leaning in on that and just having a true mark, like a nice true mark position is, kind of simple. It starts out with not like the most simple trick, but it is a very simple switch up. There's not much movement going on, but it is like the natural body movement that would come along either way. And again, a yin and yang thing is like working against that particular body movement. I got one trick up here, which is like the TTP true mark or like a back Savannah true mark, whatever. And then instead of like going 180 further or like staying fakie, is going rewind 180, or whatever you could do is like going back Savannah and then rewind topsoul or something. Almost done with my list actually. Next thing I have is unexpected switch ups, which usually don't require any of the other points, like any of these to be met. It's like whenever you do an unexpected switch up, it usually doesn't have to look that good, but it just is, yeah. It's unexpected. It's that kind of like that whoa moment, and I don't know. It's never been my thing to do. I don't really have that many tricks that like shock people, I guess. I just usually try to think of something that I could see myself do very comfortably. But yeah, whenever you see someone just randomly pop out like a topsoul hurricane topsoul, that's one of the things. Like with some people it's not unexpected anymore, but like sometimes it's just that just comes out of nowhere. So unexpected switch ups might be a good thing. I don't have much examples, so I'm just going for the next point right here, which is fast switch ups. Let's say you have the 3-point switch up. Going fast is one thing, but what you could also do is basic one is like doing a soul and then the backside soul again. Just trying to execute that nice, but it's like that also going back on the next on a different point is like it has a nice rhythm, which is like that you go on bang but bang. Yeah, I really enjoy that. I guess fast switch ups, look up Anthony Marchione videos. He has the fast feet. There's like some really interesting switch ups whenever he's doing them. I'm just gonna go for the last point right here. Last point I have, also very high ranking actually, is holding your second or like last trick of the switch up for the longest. I'm going for a 2-point switch up now, but holding the second trick at a 2-point switch up is so much like more important than you would actually think. It's like having the first trick like solid, not like skipping the first trick, but just like having it solid and then just switching up. And the thing about like the things I wrote down, like my notes, most of these don't require hard tricks to be done. You don't have to shock people with like the amount of different tricks you can do, or like with like how you can do everything like switch and natural. But it's screen again, sorry. it is more about just thinking about like how you actually want to portray this idea of yours, that switch up of yours, how you want to like execute a switch up on a specific spot. In my case right now, I'm skating a P rail, which when it comes to switch ups is kind of like a blank canvas in painting. Like there's nothing, like there's no challenge on the run up or on the spot itself. It's like, all right, it's a free for all. Like you can do your switch ups however you want, or like however you're capable of. So there's a lot of like, you can just play around with all these like these notes that I've said right now. And when it comes to street skating, obviously it's usually a little bit more restricted. Sometimes you cannot just like take it from the P rail to street unless you find a P rail on street, which is very convenient. But yeah, this is my list. This is my base points on how a switch up could be good or, well, not so good. Yeah, let me know what you think. Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree? This is, yeah, sharing of opinions, so you can disagree with the whole video actually. If anybody felt offended by my points, this is your problem, not mine. By the way, this is all pre-recorded. I haven't skated yet, so I'm just sitting here talking about switch ups. So I guess maybe I'm adding something afterwards if I can think of some examples or whatever. But yeah, let's actually get into skating. All right, so I am absolutely cooked now. It's still like 30 degrees or something, and I managed to get some switch ups in that I wanted to do for a bit now, and I think I got to do a switch up that like at some point fits all the criteria that I was talking about. Sometimes they don't, obviously. So it was fun trying around. I figured I would do more skating for this video, but ended up talking a lot. It's a lot of like technicalities in this, but yeah, again, if you watched up to this point, thank you very much. And I'm gonna close it up right here. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time. Keep skating.